So I'm going to tell you a little story that I'm a little bit embarrassed about. So before I found out the sex of my baby, I was totally sure that I was having a girl. My husband was sure that we were having a girl. I picked out like outfits for her for his Christmas and beach day and birthday. I like thought about all the things we would do together, what I would teach her. I was like so embedded in the belief that I would have a girl, that at the 20-week ultrasound, no joke, the ultrasound tech, the first thing she said was like, there's the turtle head. And there was like the balls and the penis. That's all you could see on the screen. It was like his little turtle head. You're having a boy. I had to bite down on the inside of my cheek to not cry, and not happy tears. I could not wrap my mind around the fact that it was not a girl. I was in total shock, in denial. I had spent 20 weeks, or maybe 18 or less, but a long time connecting to the idea of a girl. And I was devastated initially that that was not the case. I immediately felt disconnected from my baby. I was crying, I was mourning, and then the guilt hit. I felt like, okay, I still have a healthy baby inside of me, and I'm so sad that it's not the sex that I thought it would be. So guilty. And so I started to cry more, and then I was like guilty and sad, and it was awful. Once I kind of calmed down and I gained a little bit of perspective, I realized a few things. So the first being that even if I know the sex that my baby's going to be, I don't know the gender. If I had a girl, maybe she would have identified as a male. My little boy, he might identify as a woman, as a female. I don't know. I also don't know who this little person is going to be. Even if it was a girl, would she have like met my definition of what like girls do and what girls like and what I would have taught a girl? I mean, I finally realized, like, in so many ways, the sex of my baby really does not matter. It's not going to change how much I love this child, how I parent this child, what I teach this child. I mean, literally, the only exceptions I could think of would be like, okay, with a girl, I would help her through her first menstrual period, her first menstrual cycle. Obviously, that's not going to happen with a boy. And with the boy, teaching him not to piss on the seat and putting the toilet seat down, it's like the only difference. Beyond that, like I'm still going to try to teach him to be a good human, to be active, like all the same stuff I probably would have taught a girl, like with dating etiquette and all that kind of stuff. No difference between a boy and a girl. So that helped me a lot, actually. It helped give me perspective. It helped to soothe some of the guilt, but I'm still glad that I let myself be sad initially. Those were the emotions that were authentically coming up in me, and I let them out. I didn't suppress them. And so if you're experiencing the same thing, if you found out the sex of your baby is different than you had hoped for, number one, know that I can almost guarantee that everybody, even the people that are like, I don't care what the sex is, it doesn't matter, I can almost guarantee that like there's a tiny piece of them that's hoping for a male or female, even if it's just tiny, tiny, tiny. So everybody has a piece of that, and it's totally okay if you're like, I really, really want a girl. If you have like 3 boys, it's understandable that maybe you'd want a girl. If you grew up in a household of all females, like maybe, yeah, you want a boy. So it's, number one, it's okay to have a preference. And it's okay right after you find out to be disappointed, you know? So go to a private place, let yourself be sad, let yourself cry, let yourself feel the emotions, and know that they will pass, you know, usually within a day. Sometimes it takes a couple days, and that's okay too. And to also remember that it does not mean that you're going to be a horrible parent. It doesn't mean that you don't love the baby that's still in you. It just means that you are adapting to a different vision of how parenthood was going to be with this child. So allow yourself to get upset. And then to go back to that understanding that you are growing a unique human being. So as you know, I mentioned before, you have no idea who the baby is going to be or even what gender they choose. You know, and even if you're having the sex that you had hoped for, they probably would not have perfectly fit into the vision that you had for them. So we can just let go of all those expectations. And then the next thing is to explore the reasons why you wanted, you know, your baby to be male or female. Like write down all the special things you thought you would do together and then look at it with a new lens. And you'll probably realize, you know what, I can do all of these things with the baby that I'm having, again, with the exception of the menstrual period and then peeing on the seat thing. Like almost every other dream you had for your relationship with that child can still come true. You can also write a letter to your baby if you're feeling really guilty that you're sad that they were a certain sex. Write a letter to them, letting them know, like, I love you regardless of your sex, or whatever you want to say that will kind of heal that hurt that you feel. Go ahead and write that letter. You never have to give it to them. It can just be for you. And then know that your disappointment will fade, and know that there's not something wrong with you if it takes a little while. Maybe it even takes a couple weeks. Maybe it lasts until you actually give birth to the baby. But I can almost guarantee that when you hold your baby in your arms, you could care less what the sex of the baby is. You're just going to love that unique little individual so much your heart will ache. If you want to share a story about being disappointed about the sex of your baby, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you.